So we all know the stories about the police shooting an unarmed person or someone that was trying to flee from a police officer. This has been a problem for quite a while now, and I think it's about time that we figured out a way to find out a solution to this problem of, police brutality and policemen getting away with things that they shouldn't get away with. Anytime that a police officer pulls you over or puts you in detainment, there's a large gray area of uncertainty that is only known by the witnesses, by the police officer, and by the victim or the suspect. So that has been a huge problem, a part of American society for a while now, and I believe that it's about time that we figure out a solution to this problem. And my solution to this problem is body cameras. So, what's the problem exactly? So, well, to start, the problem is that when someone, like I said, when someone is being stopped or being in detainment of a police officer, there's a gray area that we do not know what exactly is happening. That is only known, especially in detainment, that is between the police officer and the suspect. So many people, for this fact, are incriminated for crimes that they did not commit. And you cannot prove the police are wrong about these false incriminations because there's no video footage, there's just evidence, and a lot of times it just goes that the policemen get what they want. So from the Washington Post, in 2018, the police had killed 992 people. And from those 992 people, only 113 of those people killed had a police officer with a body camera on. This means that out of all those killings in 2018, that was 11%. That we know exactly what happened to that suspect that got shot. So out of those people that were not killed, that were killed without a body camera by a police officer, how many of them were just? How many of them were unjust? And how many of them still need to be proven to this day? So like I said, we cannot know for certain what happens in those areas of what I call the gray area of between the police officer and the suspect, and the only way that you can truly know is with eyewitnesses. And the human memory is not very good at remembering things. So that is also not a very good way of collecting evidence for this problem. So, what has caused American culture or society to come this far in this way? So, I would say that one cause is Rodney King. If you don't know, you probably have learned this in a class at least once. Rodney King was beaten by multiple police officers for driving under the influence and speeding. You could say that he was a threat while he was speeding, but when they eventually pulled him over, he was just a suspect. He was just someone that they finally pulled over, and they decided to take him out of his vehicle, lay him on the ground, and then beat him with police batons until he almost died because of his injuries, but he came back. He didn't die from it. So the only reason that we know about the Rodney King incident is because someone videotaped it. A witness decided to videotape what happened. And if they would have had, granted, this might have been at a time where police body cams were not a thing, but if they did have one, we would know exactly what happened, and we wouldn't need an eyewitness video to prove that they did this. Another problem is with the Mike Brown incident. He was shot and killed under suspicion of stealing. Mike Brown went into a gas station and he stole cigars. which you could say is a big deal, but to be shot and killed because of that is not just. That is injustice, like point blank injustice. And he was not fighting the officer, he was not attacking him. The officer decided to pull out his gun and he decided to run away because he's pulling out a gun on something that is so little as to stealing cigars. And he shot him in the back, and Mike Brown did eventually turn around and put his hands in the air, and he kept shooting him, even though he was putting his hands in the air, which is, a lot of police officers say that they shot a person because they were reaching for something, but what are you reaching for in the air? Nothing. You know, you're listening to a police officer and his warnings. So that is some of the causes of why we should implement body cameras into all police departments. These are just a few stories out of the countless others that police officers have killed someone or beaten them for pretty much nothing. And so with these stories in mind, how could we exactly get the benefits out of a police camera on them at all times? Well, the benefits are from, and I read this from the National Institute of Justice, that found that police have better relationship with civilians when they are wearing police body cameras. So pretty much the police officer always has an eye on them, so they're always being watched at all times, and that makes them be better with the community because they don't want any conflict. People feel much safer when a police officer has a body camera as well. That's adding security, that's adding protection to you and your rights. A reduction in citizen complaints, and also the study found that the use of body-worn cameras has led to an increase of arrest, prosecution, and guilty pleas, but it is much more efficient. It's not as much paperwork because they have it on tape. So with these benefits in mind, I would like to strongly encourage you to send out emails, send out letters, write a petition for your PD, and post it on social media. You know, get the word out. This doesn't have to just be a county thing. This can be greater than that. This can be in the counties around you. So with that said,